That tool, for example, the position size calculator, is probably more valuable than most indicators.
Especially also with prop firms, because of course you have a maximum risk. So then by limiting the risk per trade, you really reduce the chance that you lose the account.
How long would you say it kind of took you before you started seeing results with your trading?
Trading, I actually started doing that a long time ago, like more than 10 years ago. Kind of excited about the prop firm world in a sense. So I'm exploring it and also planning to invest more with Ola and see where it goes in the long run.
Hello everyone, and welcome to another Trader Stories here with Ola Prime. Today we're joined by a very special guest, Alex from the Netherlands, who has a $100,000 Forex funded account with us. He's had a payout of $4,120. So basically 4% gain on the account, which is absolutely incredible. Alex, thank you so much for joining. How are you doing today?
Yeah, I'm doing great. Enjoying the sun out here in Bangkok.
Amazing, amazing. So currently you're on holiday in Bangkok. Are you with family, friends?
No, I'm traveling with my girlfriend here for like a week or two in total.
Amazing. You're living the trader's dream right
Yeah,
now, the lifestyle.
flexible lifestyle. It's also
I
the
love it. I
perfect
love
time
it.
for
Really
holiday
good.
because it's always the calm market time with the Christmas and New Year's Eve and so.
Exactly. Exactly. Alex, so
Mhm.
let us know a little bit about you as a trader. I mean, where did it all start for you? When did it all start for you as trading?
Yeah, trading, I actually started doing that a long time ago, like more than 10 years ago. Because at that time I was running multiple websites about different topics. And then at some point I discovered investing, like trading stocks, these sort of things. So then I started a few websites about like how to buy stocks, how to invest, how to trade. So I started working with
Hmm.
different like Forex firms, like crypto exchanges. And that's how I also discovered trading myself. So I started doing it myself, both with CFDs and also with stocks for the long run investment.
So you started with stocks, or was that collectively you did stocks, Forex, or did you kind of transition into Forex at some point?
Yeah, stocks, like long-term investment in stocks, ETFs, and then also CFDs on Forex. And I also kind of
Amazing.
worked with these companies in the past through my website to inform people how to use it, for example.
You started about 10 years ago, you said. How long would you say it kind of took you before you
Mhm.
started seeing results with your trading?
Well, like in a sense, I was kind of lucky when I was very young. I started without really a strategy, just to try it out. So in that first few months, I actually got some results, but then it was more luck than anything. So at some point, I lost money again as well, like most people who start out, I think. So then I really started kind of studying different strategies, like how to read price action, how to work with different type of indicators, and really kind of optimizing different strategies, and then always kind of testing what works. So then over time, then I really saw the results improve and became more steady, I would say. And of
Mm,
course,
mm.
especially with long-term investments like buying ETFs and buying stocks, that's in general very stable, I would say, because there I just apply dollar cost averaging from a long age ago, basically.
What kind of trader would you say you are in terms of, are you a scalper, intraday, swing trader?
Well, I do like experiment over time with different strategies, also because, of course, I write about different strategies and methods people can run. That's also why I try all sorts of methods of investing and trading. But I think when I
Hmm.
trade personally, I kind of have two different strategies in mind. So for the long term, of course, I look more at the fundamentals, the market conditions, and then select companies, for example, that, in my opinion and vision, have a great kind of value for the future. Like for example, this year I invested in ASML and Meta, like stocks that kind of utilize on the latest trends. But then, for example,
Mm.
currently on my Hola account, I'm working with the SuperTrend strategy. It's like an indicator you can
Ah,
use on
yes.
different time frames. And then I work on the 4 hour and 5 minute time frames, basically. So first I see what it is doing on the 4 hour chart, and then if there's some sort of like a crossover that indicates a buying or selling signal. Then I also look for confirmation on the 5 minute normally. And then currently to
Wow.
work with the consistency rule, I do like a roughly 1% risk, a little bit lower than that, and then 1.2 profit per trade, basically. And then the goal, of course, to
Mm.
have four of those so it makes the next payout, basically.
Yeah. No, that's really awesome. I've heard a lot about the SuperTrend indicator. I've done a few interviews with people who actually use it. So it seems to
Mhm.
be a very popular and useful indicator for many traders out there. So really awesome to see another person using it.
Yeah,
Um, so what kind of instrument is your go-to instrument to trade, day trading
yeah.
wise?
Currently, I use this strategy on gold versus dollar. But I'm
Hmm.
also like in my back testing on my own computer looking for other instruments that might be interesting as well. So I'm kind of looking for like which type of instruments work well with this type of strategy. But so far,
Yeah,
I think like gold is a really good one for the super trend strategy in combination with those. And I'm
yeah,
also, for example,
absolutely.
seeing if it's interesting to combine it with price action, that you look for extra confirmation in that form. So I'm kind of like altering little things to see how to get the best results in the end.
Is it possible you could share your chart and kind of just show us what you would look for on a day-to-day basis when you jump on the chart?
Yeah, I mean, I can show kind of how it works. Might be hard to find something very interesting at the moment. So here, this is basically the super trend strategy line. And here you have like the 4 hour and 5 minutes. So normally I would
Okay.
take some time to really analyze it. Of course, this is a bit more spontaneous, but here you see where the color basically changes. It gives a signal that at that time it might be interesting to take a position. For example, here it
Mm.
goes from green to red. So that could be
Hmm.
a signal to potentially sell. And then in this case, you see it indeed went down as well.
Mm.
So what you can do in that case is go to the 5 minute as well, and then kind
Hmm.
of look for confirmation. Currently, I'm
Hmm.
on my not on my big computer since I'm on a holiday, so it's a bit tiny here. But then you would kind of look for the same moment on the graph and then see if it has the same movement. And then suppose that's the
Aha.
case, and it could be a potentially interesting moment to enter a trade. And then personally, I like to use this position size to calculate the stop loss and take profit that fits a certain risk criterion. Because normally I aim for
Absolutely.
about 0.95% risk, so you can fill in the position size. And then it basically adds the stop loss and take profit on this graph, of course. And then by moving it around, you can actually see the risk percentage that applies in that situation.
Ah,
So, for
yes.
example, you just keep moving it, and the screen is a bit tiny, so it's a bit hard to actually show. But normally on a big screen, it's kind of easy, and then you move the stop loss depending if it's long or short in a certain direction, and then it
Hmm.
directly shows you here what's the risk percentage. And then
Gotcha.
after that, of
Gotcha.
course, in the order screen, you can fill in the value of the stop loss and take profit. That's normally one way to do it, although I'm also looking into, for example, using the indicator itself to potentially enter and exit trades, since you can
Mm.
also, in theory, kind of say, oh, I buy here, I sell here. It is a bit more of an active
Yeah.
approach. So I'm also considering that could be potentially a way to do it. But I think the interesting thing, of course, with trading is to keep experimenting and then kind of see what works well.
Absolutely. No, you're 100% right. You always evolve as a trader. You're always getting better. You're always tweaking. You're always, because the markets evolve over time as well. So you kind of have to adapt. But just even having that position size calculator will I think people don't put enough value on something like that position size calculator. Everyone always wants the coolest indicator or EA or something, which is
Yeah.
great. But that tool, for example, the position size calculator, is probably more valuable than most indicators because it really helps you, mitigate your risk. And
Exactly, yeah.
Majority of trading
Because
is risk management at the end of the day.
absolutely, especially also with prop firms, because of course you have a maximum risk of, I believe, 6% on the in the one phase model. So then by
Mm,
limiting the risk per trade, you really reduce the chance that you lose the account. So for me, I rather take kind of small profits and then have it sustainable than really aim for big profits and lose the account quickly. Because I think it's of course
exactly.
beneficial to be able to hold a strategy for a long term and then optimize it over time.
Exactly. And would you say, in terms of the psychological side of trading, obviously, the strategy, once you have a strategy that you've identified has an edge and you have the data to back it up, that's all well and good. But then, actually psychologically allowing your trades to, whatever the rules are of your strategy and actually following them, that's usually the part people struggle with. What kind of helped you
Yeah.
psychologically to kind of overcome the bad emotions that a lot of traders have?
hmm Yeah, for me, normally I just take a moment, for example, in the weekend or like every month to kind of evaluate, okay, what's the plan, for example. So in this case, I decided to see how does the SuperTrend strategy work. And then I just make this plan, for example, for like, okay, in the next 2 weeks, I will enter and exit based on the risk percentage. And then I will evaluate after that period to see what sort of results did it produce. So I don't really
Hmm.
directly always even look at the result because, of course, whether it's beneficial or a loss, both will happen in trading. You will not always win every trade. In the end, you just want to have some sort of sustainability so that in the long run, your benefits, of course, obviously are higher than your losses. So
Yeah.
yeah, in the end,
Yeah.
you're kind of as a trader looking for a system or strategy that works and then trying to follow it as precisely as possible. Because I think the biggest mistake you can do as a trader is to bring in too much variation. And then, of course, the chances that you make some sort of mistake are significantly higher. And you won't also have a good data set to kind of see if this works or not.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I think
I
for
100%
me,
agree.
just trusting a system, and then if the system doesn't work, then move to a new one. And that's also kind of the fun part of trading, I think, to just keep experimenting and improving, either by, for example, trading an account or also back testing in meta trading.
Yeah. No, I agree. Like, I'm the same. I love just trying new things out. Sometimes you're laying there at nighttime in your bed, and all of a sudden you get this idea, and you're like, "Oh, I can't wait to try this out and back test it and see if there's something there." And as a trader,
Mhm.
if you have a passion for actually back testing and trying things out, different strategies, coming up with new ideas, I think that is hugely beneficial. Because if you have a passion in anything, you're going to more likely stick with it and really follow it through. So, really awesome to hear. Um, Alex, I would love to talk a little bit about Ola Prime. Correct me if I'm wrong, but are we the first prop firm you've ever been with?
Yeah, actually, you guys are the first prop firm that I'm really using in a sense. Like, I looked at some websites already, but then I think you guys had a sale a while back. Like, you could buy these accounts quite cheaply. So I thought it's like a nice opportunity to test this different model besides the traditional CFD trading, which of course to an extent kind of works the same, except for then you put in your own capital. And here, for
Hmm.
a few $100s, you can potentially, of course, gain the same benefit of having a significantly larger account.
Yeah, 100%. I think you're
Mhm.
you're quite an interesting trader because most people start with a prop firm, build up some capital, and then once they have a bit of capital, they start trading their own capital alongside the prop firm. You did it the other way around as well. So you started with your own capital, then discovered prop firms, and now trade
Yeah,
both. So would you kind
correct.
of who would you recommend prop firms? Like, when should someone trade their own capital, or
Yeah.
which person should go to a prop firm in your opinion?
Yeah, good question. I think, of course, if you have not that much capital available. It's of course harder to do trading yourself because suppose you have
Yeah.
you're just starting and you want to allocate $500, then in theory you can of course do a normal account, but then you either take way too much risk with a broker that offers super high leverage, which some people do, and then of course they blow up their accounts rather quickly, or you have to be extremely patient because if you aim for example, the strategy I apply here, which is 1% on a trade, then you would make $5 already, pay some commissions. So it's not really a method to
Yeah.
build up an income out of trading that easily. So I would say to really start trading yourself, you would need a bit more capital. Like, of course, you could buy an ETF or like something that is steady over the long term. But if you really want to be serious and active trading without like a significant amount of capital, it's a lot harder. So I think a company like Ola Prime can be very useful for people who consider or want to start trading, but they don't have a lot of capital available yet. But I think at the same time,
Yeah.
it can also be interesting when you do have the capital to diversify, because of course you can do it besides your own trading activities, and also use it
Mm.
to, for example, on your own account, run strategy A and run strategy B with Ola, and then yeah, it gives you an opportunity to diversify a bit as well.
Absolutely. And would you say that you treat both your own capital account and your Ola Prime funded account, would you treat them psychologically the same, or are you kind of more nervous trading your own capital and a bit more risky maybe trading the Ola Prime account, or the other way around? Or are you kind of your mindset, this is all
Yeah. Well, I
the
think
same to me, you know?
yeah, for me currently it feels kind of the same, but of course I have quite a bit of experience. So I would imagine, suppose I just get started, that the feeling might be very different. Because I can also imagine maybe it sometimes attracts people to a firm like Ola because it doesn't really feel like money to them, that they would take bigger risks. I guess
Yeah.
also a lot of people might blow up their account in one or two trades. But in a sense, the same would happen, I feel, with the beginners who start with $500 and then apply a really high leverage. So yeah, I think that's in
Yeah.
general
Yeah.
a sort of a lesson that people learn in real life when they start doing it. Like, what's the impact on their psychology and so on. And for me, when I was a lot younger, initially, I also had that feeling. Like I really went for these big gains on small amounts, and then it went well, and then you kind of blow it up. And I think most people kind of start like that, probably.
Yeah. 100% agree. Um, let's talk about your payout. So you've had a payout of roughly just over $4,000. How was the overall experience from requesting the payout to actually receiving the money in your account?
Yeah, I mean, the experience was actually good. It was pretty quick. I believe I received it within a day or something. It's already a while ago, so I'm not
Amazing,
exactly sure. But what I remember is it was pretty quick and easy, actually.
amazing, amazing. And the overall kind of trading experience with Ola Prime in terms of the platform. I'm assuming you use MetaTrader with us because I can see you have
Yeah.
MetaTrader up, so I'm assuming that's your go-to
Well,
platform. Um,
uh,
and yeah, just the overall kind of experience in terms of like the challenge, passing it, the
mhm.
rules. What's your
Yeah, I
feedback
mean,
on that side?
yeah, I think in a sense it's quite reasonable. I believe recently the conditions are changed a bit, so I'm not sure what's currently the trading conditions on new accounts. So I cannot really say much about that. But when I joined, it was, I believe, out of the top of my head, was like 6% loss and then 10% call with a static
Mm.
drawdown and then one phase basically. And after that, you got funded. And then I
Hmm.
think after a while, they changed the consistency rule because now it's 25%. I'm not sure what it was before actually.
Mm.
But I mean,
Mm.
overall,
Okay.
it's in a sense doable. You just have to trade a bit conservatively, I feel, and then it's possible to get payouts like I did.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, as long as you stick to the rules and the sometimes the rules can seem, for a lot of traders, a bit annoying, but in the long run, if a trader sticks to them, it's statistically they're going to have more longevity in the market. At least that's what we found, because if you remove the rules, sure, there'll be people who make ridiculous amounts very quickly. But there'll also be people the majority will just completely blow their account, and then over and over. And it will just be an endless cycle of just failure. And then you'll have a few lucky people. It will turn into a casino, essentially, with no rules.
I think you see that a bit in crypto as well. Like with people who buy the meme coins, and then the story about one person who buy this random coin, and then everyone start buying the random coin, but then most people end up unhappy. It's kind of a common pattern, I feel.
And it makes a great story if someone, I made $250,000 in a future. Great story, but you're not looking at the, thousands of people who lost everything. There's always with great reward, there's always great risk, and that's just sadly how it is in the real world. So, but finding traders like yourself, people who understand that it's a business, not a casino, who understand that the short, little gains add up, and the longevity of it, protecting the account capital and the risk management and putting that first. Those people are the people who grow over time, make so much money over the long term, and actually are successful in trading. And that's ultimately what we're trying to attract. We're not looking for gamblers, we're looking for traders, actual traders, and you're the perfect example of an actual trader. So really awesome to have you here, Ola Prime. I hope you stick with us. I hope you keep growing with us. What are your future plans with us? Are you looking to get more accounts, more capital?
Yeah, definitely. I'm kind of excited about the prop firm world in a sense. So I'm exploring it, and also planning to invest more with Ola, and see where it goes in the long run.
Amazing. Well, we're very happy to have you on board. Alex, thank you so much for joining me today, and sharing your story, your strategy, and being an all-round great guy to talk to. And enjoy your holiday in Bangkok, and have a great 2026 as well. Thank you again, Alex.
Yeah, thanks, Sam. You as well over there.
Thank you. And to all the viewers, thank you guys for watching. If you did enjoy this video, go ahead, leave a like, thumbs up, subscribe, all that good stuff. And we'll be back with many more trader interviews. So once again, thank you guys for watching. We'll see you again very soon. Take care.
Ola Prime, trade with transparency.